Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. For this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make these beautiful gemstone hair clip barrettes. And not all of these are actually made out of gemstone. Some of this is other materials that has that gemstone chip shape. So this one here is made with sodalite gemstones. This is serpentine gemstones. This is coral, red coral. This is cherry quartz. This one is crystal quartz, and this one to me looks like ice. It's really neat. This one here is not a gemstone, it's actually dyed shell beads that have that chip shape. And this one here, I actually have 3 different chip beads in this one. I had a little bit of chip beads of 3 different colors, or 3 different kinds, and I really didn't have much to do with them, so I mixed them together and I used them for this barrette, and it turned out awesome. I have picture jasper in this, cornelian, and some other gemstone. I don't know what it is. And this one here is actually glass cat's eye bead chips. So as you can see, I've done a lot of different chip beads, and these barrettes have turned out beautifully. I love them so much. Once I made one, I couldn't stop. I had to make more in all different colors, and since my mom is always wanting barrettes, I made a lot of them. So for this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make these beautiful gemstone chip barrettes, shell chip, coral chip, whatever kind of chip beads you have. They're very easy to make. They don't take a lot of time. Actually, the thing that takes the most time is stringing the gemstone chips onto the wire. That's probably the most time consuming part about this. So let's get started. Here is the list of materials you will need to make a hair barrette. You will need 26 gauge craft wire. This is actually a floor wire, and I didn't have my regular craft wire in a 26 gauge, so I had to use this stuff instead. And I didn't know what it was going to be like, but I've used it for all of these and it's turned out great. Now, I did try using a 24 gauge craft wire because I have a 24 gauge in my craft wire, and I did not like it because the 24 gauge is too thick. I couldn't get all of my gemstones to fit onto the wire, and not just that, but I couldn't do the wraps and the bending that I had to do with the wire. So I really recommend to use the 26 gauge wire so you have no problems. And by the way, I found this spool of wire at Walmart for just over $1 in the floral section, and I normally use this for doing French beaded flowers, but it's worked pretty great for this project here. You're also going to need a hair barrette. This is a 3-inch barrette. You can use smaller or bigger sizes if you want. Because of how this is made, you can really use any size barrette that you want. You're also going to need chip beads. This is amethyst gemstones. They're very pretty. And you're also going to need just a couple tools. You're going to need chain nose pliers and wire cutters. And I think this is it. Since I've only worked on getting ready for this project last night and today, I hope that I did not leave anything out. So yeah, this is the stuff you're going to need. It's not very much. And like I said, this project is very fast and easy to do, and we're going to have so much fun. The first thing we have to do is to take this barrette apart because we can't work on it with the hinge and the spring on it. So go ahead and open the barrette, and then right here where the hinge is at, you just want to separate these 2 pieces and pull this off. And now we have the spring left. And on this side here we have the lock, and this side here there's nothing. So to get the spring out without bending it, the best way is to get it out from this part, not the lock side, but this part here. So we just lift this up, and then it slides right out underneath of the lock. So now that we have this apart, you just want to set these off to the side, and we are now ready to decorate the top of our barrette. The next thing to do is to open the spool of wire, and you want to straighten it out so that the chip beads slide down your wire. And we're going to be working on the spool. You do not want to cut the wire off because there's no telling how much wire we're going to need. Some of them I use more wire, some of them I use less wire, and that's because when I first started making it, and I'll show you, these 4 here I made first, and as you can see they are thinner looking, and it doesn't look like there's as many beads in them. And then I started using more beads because I realized I could make it chunkier. And you could see how much fuller and thicker these ones here are. So you won't need as much wire if you're doing it like this, and if you're really loading them up like I did here, you will need more wire. So there's no telling how much wire you will need, so the best thing to do is to just use it straight off the spool, and this way you won't drop any beads in the floor. Okay, so just straighten your wire out so your beads slide down it, and just put it off to the side. And we're going to be picking our gemstone chip beads up, or glass or shell or coral, whatever chip beads you're using. And one thing I did notice is I like to pour my container out and I like to sift through the gemstone beads because some of them are defective. Some of them, there's a hole in the bead, but it's barely holding onto the chip, and you don't want to put that onto your barrette because it's not going to hang on. This one here is very close to the edge, but it's not that bad, and actually it will stick out very nicely in my barrette. Now there are some chip beads that are extremely teeny tiny. I'll look for one that you're not going to want on your barrette. It's because they're just way too fragile. Some of them are really thin, like this one here. This is not a good one to put on the barrette. As you can see, it's extremely thin. It'll probably break. So I just like to go through the chip beads and pick out the thick ones, the ones that are big and chunky, and put them on the barrette. Oh, and something else I noticed is that some of them will be really long and the hole is all the way on, like for example, on the very end, like over here. You don't want to use that one because it's not going to lay right in the barrette. So just sift through your beads like I am here and pick out some ones that look good and you know aren't too thin that will break. So as you can see, I just strung some on here, and these are some good looking ones. Okay, and also if you want, you can mix colors, because like I did in this one here, I mixed 3 different kinds of gemstone beads and it looks really pretty. So that is another option, is to mix your colors. Now we are going to be stringing 12 inches of gemstone beads onto our wire. I first started doing 10 inches with the thinner ones here, and then when I started making them really thick and chunky, these big full ones here, I needed more beads. So 12 inches is just the right amount. We might have a little bit extra, but that'll be fine. We can just take them off. So this is what I have so far. And like I said, you want to string, what was it, 12 inches of gemstone beads. So go ahead and string your 12 inches, and once you get there, I'll show you what to do next. So I have 12 inches of chip beads on my wire, and when you go to measure it, make sure that you stand it up and shake it down, because some of the beads, how they're shaped, they don't want to fall all the way down. And then measure, and by the way, my board here has a ruler on it, and I have a 12 inches, and that is one thing I forgot to tell you guys, that you need a ruler, but everybody has a ruler, so that's no big deal. But anyways, you want to go ahead, put your 12 inches of beads in there, and put your beads down your wire towards your spool. You want to push your spool far away on your work surface because you don't want to get your wire all bent up. And I have about 1.5 feet of wire here that I'm going to be working with. We're going to be using this wire up, wrapping it around the barrette, so I like to slide the beads up as I need them. Okay, so I have the top of my barrette here, and the first thing we're going to do is take the chain nose pliers, and you want to bend the wire about 1 inch to 1.5 inches like this. Okay, just like that. And I like to make this even more thinner because we're going to connect this onto the barrette. Now I found, after making 8 of these, that it's best to start on this end here with the lock, because we're going to be working in one direction, and if I were to start here and get down here, it'd be too hard to tie this off with the lock here. It gets in the way. So you want to start at this end. So take the wire and you want to open it up like this. Okay, and we're going to slide this short piece underneath, on this side, underneath the barrette, and you want to pass through this hole like this, okay? Just like that. So now the long piece is at the end, and then the short piece is right here. So I'm going to keep the long piece here because I could pick my gemstones up right on this corner, and then I won't be able to see the end of my barrette. So holding it like this, I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to wrap around this barrette. Okay, wrapping to the back, and you want to bend this in a curl so you can go back through that hole that's right there. And you want to make sure that your wraps are laying side by side. You need them to be tidy so this isn't loose, okay? So once you get through that hole, pull it, and you may notice that it's kind of rounded, so I always go back after each wrap and I crimp it flat, okay? So after that wrap, we're going to make another wrap. And like I said, you want them to lay side by side, which this one's actually crossing over on me. Okay, so there it is. I'll crimp it again. Bend this to the back. Curl this down and pass through that hole again. I make several wraps, by the way, because I've learned the more wraps, the more stable and stuck it is in this spot, and it will not move if you have a lot of wraps, okay? So I'm going to crimp that last wrap down. You might have your wraps separate, so to fix that you just push it together with your pliers and your fingernails. And I'm just going to finish wrapping this, okay? Right down there, pull up here, just like that. And I'm just going to bend this down, crimp it flat, and I just have a little bit there. You can either trim that off or bend it over. I'm just going to bend it over. Squeeze it nice and tight. Okay, just like that. So now you want to lift this piece up, and this is where we're going to start adding the beads on this here. Okay, so we're done with the chain nose for now, and I'm going to take and start sliding my gemstone beads down. And when I first started making these, I was doing, depending on the thickness of the chip beads, because some chip beads are a lot bigger than others. Like these were gigantic, these were pretty big, these here were thin, but I used a lot of them, and that's why it looks so chunky. These here were also big, the coral. So these here are smaller. So to make it chunky looking, I probably want about 6 to 7, maybe even 8, depending on the thickness of the chip beads in each wrap. So you don't have to count them, but just to see, I have 8 right here. Now, I have found you want to have your barrette upside down, and you want to slide your chip beads down, and you want to shake them, because the thickest part is the heaviest part, and it will fall to the bottom, and then you slide it up, and you carefully wrap it around your barrette. Now, if you were to just slide them down like this and then wrap them around, you would see exposed wire. So that's another thing that I've learned. Now let's see here. I'm at the very end, so I think, looking from this side, you can see a big hole. I think this is too many beads. Maybe I should do, that still might be too many. Maybe 5, because I'm at the very end. Yep, I think 5, okay? So you want to pull this wire tight, okay? And now I'm going to make the first wrap. Just like that. You want to make sure there's no beads on the bottom. So making the first wrap, now I'm on the top. Now I'm going to slide some more beads down. Okay, now because I have my first wrap here, I might be able to use more beads in this wrap. So again, I'm going to take my beads, put my barrette upside down, I'm going to shake this so all the thickest part of the chip beads fall, and then I'm going to figure out about how many chip beads I will need. I do want this one to look chunky, because the chunkier ones I think look better. Okay, I have 6 in this wrap. I might be able to do 7. Let's see what one more looks like. Yeah, I think I might be able to do 7. Okay, so I'm going to do 7, but instead of wrapping it on this side, it will cause it to slide off. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to wrap on this side here, but I'm going to come between these two pieces right there in my lock and pull that down. Okay, just like that. So now I'm around this piece, and I'm going to bend it over. So now I have what looks like this. Okay, so make sure you pull that nice and tight. You don't want it to be loose. If your wire's loose, you'll have gemstone chips on the back, and we don't want that. Okay, now go ahead and slide some more beads down, and like I said, put your barrette upside down, shake your wire so you can get the thickest part of your gemstone beads to sit properly so there's no exposed wire. Okay, I have 3, 4, 5, 6 right there, and I do have some big ones. So it looks like with 6. I want it to be similar looking to my first wraps. I don't want it to be thinner, because on some of these I had, for example, this red one here where I could only do, I think it was 3 or 4 beads. Maybe it's not the red one, but there was one that I did. It's this one right here. I had to do 3 beads right there because I could not fit a 4th one on, and I feel like I should remake this one because it looks thin to me right here in this spot. So anyways, I think that looks really good. I'm going to wrap around. Make sure you pull it very tight as you wrap. Okay, and I'm going to add some more beads. And again, you want to flip it upside down and gently shake it so all the beads sit properly. And there we go. This one's going to look so pretty. Now I do see a little bit of wire there shining through, but it's not that bad, and I don't think I could really do anything to change it. I have 6 beads in this wrap. Maybe if I had a 7th one, it'll stop it. So let's see. With the 7th bead. Okay, the 7th bead is stopping that wire from showing, so I'm going to wrap 7. Okay, that's what it looks like so far. It's pretty thick. I'm going to slide some more beads down. Okay. Let's see. This wrap I have 7. I might need another one because there's some that looks thin. Yeah, I think I'll go with 1 less chip because it's getting too tall. Just like that. Make sure that your gemstone bead sits properly right there before you wrap it, because some of them want to go to the bottom, and we do not need that to happen. Okay, slide some more beads down. Pull it tight. Maybe 1 more. Okay. This wrap I have 3, 4, 5, I have 7. So it is about 6 to 7 for each wrap you want to do. Depends on the thickness again. Okay, pull it tight and wrap around. Again, pull it tight. You can bunch these together more if you want. You can move the chips around. I'm going to slide some more beads down. Again, want to flip upside down and shake them on. Now this one I do have an exposed wire. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stop that. Okay, I got 7 in this wrap. I'm going to stay with that amount and wrap it around. Adding more beads. So this is pretty much it. You're just wrapping the wire around the barrette. Oh, there's too many in that one. I swear there is. Okay, that looks too thin, so I have to use more. It's just shaped funny, I guess, because of how the beads are shaped. Actually, I think I need one more bead to fix this one. Okay, again, hang upside down. And wrap it around. Okay, there we go. Again, slide more beads down. This one looks really tall to me. Shake it upside down and carefully wrap the beads around. Okay. I'm just going to keep going till I get to the end. And this one I do have exposed wire, but I don't know if I could fix that. Actually, I think if I unravel this one, go back to this one that has exposed wire, pull this one really tight. I think that's my problem, it's getting too loose. Okay, and now shake it upside down. And then wrap it very, very tight. Okay, I still have exposed wire, just a little bit, but I can't fix it because that's just how the beads are shaped. Okay, I'm going to slide more beads down and I'm going to do another wrap. I might need like 2 more for this one. Maybe 1. Wrap it very tightly. Okay, slide some more down. Now I might want to start using less beads because I'm close to the other end. Okay, pull this very tight and wrap it around. Slide some more beads down. Again, shake it upside down. Some of these, because of how they're shaped, I've actually had to go back and with my fingers individually position them so they would sit right. I got 6 in this wrap here. Okay, so now I think I'm going to start using less beads. It depends on the thickness of them. Looks good in the bottom. I don't have any in the bottom. Okay, pulling this tight again. Gonna flip this upside down again, but I have to hold it this way. Shake the gemstones. Okay. Let's see, I got 3, 4, 5. This is 5. I think that looks too thin. Maybe I should do 6. Yeah, I'll do 6, okay? So I'm at the end right here, and sometimes I feel when I'm doing this, if I get too close to this end, these wraps will just come off the end. So sometimes I feel like I have to change up the end, but that just depends. Not every single one of them comes out the same. So on this one, I think I will wrap around this way, just like that, and we'll go back later on and deal with the end if it falls off. And that's good because you guys need to know how to fix something like that, okay? So I'm just going to slide the last beads down. And wow, this looks really good. I used every single bead. That's strange. Okay, so that's what my end looks like. I'm covering up that last bit right there of the barrette. So now I'm going to cut my wire, and I think I'm going to cut probably about 8 or 10 inches. I'm not measuring it, just guessing. Okay, and now what I need to do is attach this really good at this end so these beads don't come off. And we don't want the beads to be moving around a lot. We need them to be stationary. Okay, so I am going to push the beads down to the front there. Going to pull this really tight. One way I have learned to keep this end from coming off is to wrap around this piece right here. Okay, so I think I will do that. I'm going to wrap around this piece. Just like that. That's good. Okay. Now I'm going to take my wire, and I think I should zoom in for this. A little too close. Right here, this hole, I'm going to pass the wire through the hole. So I'm wrapping around this piece here. Okay. I'm going to take the end of my wire, and I need to bend it like that so it will go underneath and catch this hole. So I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to pass right here through these beads and come up through this hole. Now, you may need your chain nose pliers to pull this through, and you want to pull this as tight as you possibly can. Okay, so that's what it looks like now. I just went under there. Now I'm going to take and do a few wraps around this side. And I will do a few wraps on this side, because if I do that, it will keep this side from slipping off. So I'm going to pass under here and come out to this hole again. Pull this wire through. Okay. And if you want, you can flatten this. If you can get your pliers in there. Okay. I'm going to make another wrap. Pass under there and pull through. Pull it tight. And since I have a lot of wire left over, I think I will do several wraps just to use it up, because there's nothing else I'm going to be able to do with this wire. So again, I'm just going to go under this again. I have to bend it more, just like that. Pull through. I'll do it again. And like I said, the more wraps you make, the more stationary it becomes, because it's gripping the barrette better. I've really learned that. The more wraps is best when making these. Okay. And crimping it down helps too. So I do have several wraps there. That looks good. So now I'm going to go to this side and make some wraps so this wire that's right here won't slide off this corner. So I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to go under this side, which might be a little tricky because those beads are in the way. So I might have to go in from this little gap right here. Nope, I can't. I'm going to bend this more. There's a little hole right here. Okay. So pass through there. Careful you don't get a kink in your wire. I need this to be on this side. Pull this tight. I'm going to go back and crimp that down. Okay, and now I'm going to wrap it again underneath and go through that hole. Pull through. And I'll do this a few more times. Pass back through the hole again and pull through. And looking closely at this, you can take your pliers and slide these wires here down some. Okay. Like I said, doing this is preventing this wire here from slipping off. And something else I've also done is I have gone under, for example, this wire, just to make this even more secure. Go under there, grab the wire, pull it through like that. Okay, see that there? And then I've taken this wire and I've wrapped it around just like this about 2 times. I'll bring it to the inside right here, and I'll trim it and I'll crimp it to the inside, or you can trim it up in here and then you can curl the trimmed wire underneath the gemstones in the top of the barrette. So that's up to you how you want to do that. I don't really have any holes there on mine. We'll go ahead and crimp this right now. Pull this tight. I think, oh, I do have a hole right there. I'm going to trim mine and I'm going to turn it in. Okay, so I have a hole that's right there. So I'm going to take the wire, bend it up, and curl it with my chain nose into this hole. Just like that, and we're all done decorating the top. And it went really well. I don't have any gemstones on the bottom, and make sure I pulled it very tight. That's very important that you pull it very tight for each wrap. And I feel like my background's taken away from the amethyst color. It's a very beautiful amethyst color. Okay, so to put this back together, we have to put the spring in first, and then this part here. Now my lock is over here. Sometimes, depending on how I wrap this, the wraps might interfere with the spring, but I think this one is good to go. So first you want to put the spring in on the lock side right there, okay, and then you just want to push it into place there. Sometimes I actually liked that I have the wire because I feel like the spring is more secure. So here you can see I just pushed my spring underneath that wire, and I feel like it keeps the spring in more. And now we have to put this on, and every time I made the other ones, it happened like 5 times to me. I don't know why, I just wasn't paying attention, and I went to put this on and I put it on this way, and that's backwards. It's actually supposed to be this way with the curve inward. So gotta put it on like this. Okay, put it in there and then snap it shut, and we're all done. And this style of a barrette here, I bought these from Amazon. They actually tighten 2 times. So if you have really thick hair, you just push it 1 time. If you have thinner hair, you push it twice. So there we go. Alright, it looks really great. So this is it, and I do want to apologize to you guys because I went back and I watched this section of the video where I showed how to make the barrette, and when I got to about the middle, I realized that I went out of camera frame, and I apologize for that. I was really trying to focus on keeping my wire tight and making sure my beads didn't go to the back of the barrette, and I was really focusing on that, so I went out of the frame. And really, you guys didn't miss anything. I was basically just repeating the same thing over and over, wrapping the wire in the beads around the barrette, trying to keep them from going to the back and making it as tight as I can. So you guys really didn't miss on anything. So thanks for watching this video. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and like me on Facebook. And don't forget to share pictures of the jewelry we make from my videos on my Facebook page, and follow me on Pinterest. Thanks for watching.